Mi nombre es Arturo Martinez, el Diablito. Estás mirando Noches de Podcast.
All right, so welcome back, you guys, to Noches de Podcast. We're here with El Diablito,
Sí, señor.
Arturo Martinez,
Yes, sir.
a.k.a. Pues un chingón en la vihuela, ¿verdad?
No, se hace lo que se puede, ¿eh? Claro.
Guitarrón, guitar.
Mainly guitar and vihuela. I've tried learning guitarrón, but, you know, it's for bigger people than I am.
Dude, speaking of big people, you've had a crazy big journey from Sacramento, I believe.
Sacramento, yeah. I came from Sacramento. I've only been in LA for around 5 years. So, yeah, it has been a pretty crazy and unexpected journey.
You've been there your whole life? Is that where you're born?
No. I was actually born a small town up in the Bay Area called Antioch, California, over by...
I'm not even going to try that.
Yeah, Antioch. It's sort of close to San Francisco, about an hour and a half away. No, about an hour from San Francisco. At the age of 4, my parents and we moved to Modesto, California. And that's pretty much where I started my whole musical career, in Modesto, Atwater, California.
How far are all those cities? Like
So from Antioch to Modesto, it's about an hour, and then Modesto to Atwater about 30 minutes.
So you were gigging around all those areas?
No, well the thing is, when I first started, my parents had this whole vision of making me like a professional singer, like like Pedro Fernandez, for example. At first, I didn't play any instruments. I was just, their idea was to make me a singer full time. That's what they wanted. They had me record, a cassette back in the day, because back in the day, there was no CDs or whatever. So they had me record a cassette, and yeah, their whole idea of me being a charro, or not a charro, but mainly a musician, didn't come in until I was 14 years old.
From school or from your parents?
From my parents. My parents. See, the thing with my life, it's a little bit complicated. When I was born, my dad kind of said like, oh, you know what, this isn't for me. He fucking skipped out. My mom was only 16 years old when she had me, so obviously she hadn't lived her life. She hadn't partied it up yet.
Did you hear that?
I did.
Whoa, man, that's driving me nuts.
You think it's this?
No, it's coming. If it's coming to both our headphones, it's gonna. So we're here on episode 5 of Noches de Podcast. We're having some technical difficulties, but it sounds better, huh? It was like a little, it was tinier, huh?
Fix.
Well, let's cheers to that little moment, and then we'll jump back into it. Thank you, Nayeli. Go follow Nayeli. I don't know if she wants to make an appearance on the camera, but we'll put her right here somewhere.
Thank you. I don't usually drink, but
no.
For you, Pedrito, you know what?
That's true. I've never ever seen Diablito drink.
No. Salud.
Salud.
Oh, that was horrible.
Oh, I could tell. I could tell.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Anyways, continuamos after the special technical difficulties. Was at Sacramento. We were at.
So we were in a. I'll tell you a little bit about my childhood story.
Your mom, 16.
My mom was 16. She got married to my dad, obviously. I don't know if after the cake or before the cake. I don't know how that worked. But anyways, they got. My dad kind of freaked out when he found out my mom was pregnant. He took off. Or as far as I know, that's the story that I know. A lot of people wouldn't talk about their intimate life like that, but I mean, there's no reason to hide it. It's the truth, and it got me to where I am today. That's what I believe.
Yeah.
So my mom was 16 again, and I just think that she was too young to take on the responsibility of a newborn, and she was. I'm assuming she still wanted to party and stuff, So at the age of 4, practically, as far as I know it, my mom dropped me off at my grandparents' house, and never came back. Mm-hmm. So I grew up with my grandparents. My grandparents did have a mariachi, and that's how I was brought into this mariachi life, thanks to my grandparents. So like I said, thanks to them, I am where I am now. So it's a good thing to talk about, I guess.
Yeah, saludos to them, in case if they ever watch this. Wow, we're starting off really deep, you guys. I didn't even ask you if there's anything you didn't want to talk about.
No, there's nothing, man. I'll talk about everything.
Life, yeah?
Life.
Cool. I'm the same way, man. If it's life, if it's where I am today,
Yeah,
cool.
exactly.
So you were gigging around more Modesto?
Modesto, well, the thing is that over there, it wasn't so much gigs. It was what we called, talon,
Yeah.
like I said, when I first started, I was just singing.
For the viewers, what's talón?
Talón. Talón's when you go out to the bars and you offer your music to the people that are kindly drinking there inside
Is it something
the establishments.
Is it something the establishment, they call you first, or you just show up?
No, you just show up hoping for the best, man. You know, you go out there 7 p.m., 8 p.m., and you hope to get a client that'll get you until 2 p.m., which is when they close the bars. You know, and I mean, that was my school right there.
Yeah.
Everything from, I think I was fortunate enough to where when I started going to Talón, they still asked for, you know, Javier Solis songs, Jose Alfredo songs, Vicente Fernandez. And I say unfortunate because I feel like nowadays it's not like that anymore.
From the clients?
Yes.
Okay.
I feel like nowadays, you know, it's more narco corridos or,
And
you know, more modern music.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, we can go. That's a whole episode.
That's a whole episode. But I was fortunate enough that when I was 14 years old, you know, it was still common to ask for Javier Solis songs or Jose Alfredo. So that, like I said, that was my school. And my dad, or I call him my dad, he was my grandfather, but I called him dad because, you know, he raised me. He was, to this day, he is very marro, okay? Marro, for those that don't know what marro means.
He's a musician too?
Yes, he is a musician too. He was a guitar player.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mariachi.
Mariachi, yes.
Chingo. Okay.
Yes.
Marro.
Marro, because, you know, I was learning and he would just talk shit to me all the time. Like, hey, like the chingada, el pinche tiempo, or aprende esta pinche canción. Like, what are you doing? And, you know, I would like, freak out and shit.
Was that at rehearsals? I mean, at your house?
Nah, man, that was at Talón. Yeah, because like I said, back in the day, you know,
it's a different breed.
It is a different breed. Back in the day, well, like today, I guess, mafia was big, man. You know, our the biggest clients that we had were mafiosos. You know what I mean? So we would go to their house. Well, we would start at the bar, and then from there, you know, let's go to our house and let's keep partying up. But those mafiosos back then, like I said, they would ask for ranchero music. Yeah. You know, and I was starting out. I started playing vihuela when I was 14. So, you know, there was a lot of repertoire that I didn't know. And my dad, you know, he made it his personal duty to make sure he was on top of me every day. Like, hey, learn these songs because they're going to ask for it tonight again. Because
there's some people that know primera, segunda, tercera, y they go out in there. But no, like I've seen your videos. By the way, follow him on YouTube.
Yes, on YouTube.
On YouTube, we'll put it right here somewhere. And
Arturo Martinez, el Diablito. Yeah. And unfortunately, I had another channel before that. But due to the current circumstances, I deleted it and I started over. But
yeah, so this is the one. This is a good channel. This is the one that's gonna, you know. So about the channel, I was saying, I noticed you got all the chords down, like all like the Javier Solis. Like there's a lot of Javier Solis songs you do.
Yes, Javier Solis. I think Javier Solis is my main focus. I mean, there he is.
Oh my God,
he's right there.
Is that cool on the camera? Is that good angle, or maybe a little zoom in real quick? Maybe a little light. I don't know. Anyways.
Yeah. Anyways, well, he's always been my main focus as far as armonía, because I think in our realm that we play in, Javier Solis has one of the harder songs for us to play, even nowadays. You know what I mean? Like everything that's out new, it's very, very easy to play, I think. But when you go back to Javier Solis, you know, especially for a beginner, it's pretty scary.
There's a lot of people that just get by with
a
couple chords.
Like,
oh my
you
goodness.
Know, ahí la escuchan, como salga.
Oh my goodness.
Fuck it, como salga.
But Diablito, you guys, oh my goodness. Every chord, it's beautiful. I love it. It's beautiful. He's exact. He's precise.
Yeah, we try to get it as close as possible. Obviously, you know, these older recordings, there's some things you really can't really hear unless you have a program where you can just divide all the instruments, which would be awesome.
Exactly.
But yeah, man, we try to get it as close as possible.
So going back to the conversation, your pops was on that about you.
Yeah, he was on it. And the funny thing is, he himself didn't know the songs, but he wanted me to know it because I guess he didn't want me to be like him, where it was just
great
like
father figure.
Said, like pues nomás pa que salga, you know, like no, you better learn them right. And it was songs that they would actually ask for consistently. So he had a point, like you better learn it today because they're gonna ask for it tonight again. You know what I mean, or tomorrow.
Yeah, that's true.
So for us, it was like, for me actually, you know, go to school, get out of school, do my homework, and go to Talón. Come home from Talón sometimes at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and wake up and go to school.
At the age of
14, yeah.
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
That's not very common, but
It's not very common, and I hated it. I actually hated it
At the time.
At the time, I hated
Yeah.
it, and nowadays, I look back and I'm like, I'm so fortunate to have lived it, because it's, for a lot of people, maybe it's something that doesn't exist anymore, and
Yeah.
it's a great tool. It's
Oh,
a super
goodness.
great tool, man. It's
I
the
want to
best tool.
jump in a little bit on the topic about back in the day.
Yeah.
Anyways, that topic of I get into this topic with all types of generations in mariachi, and
Yeah.
I always argue that they don't make them like they used to.
I don't believe it either. But maybe it's not their fault. You know what I mean? It's just times are different. Times are different.
Yeah. So what I'm saying with they don't make them like they used to is like back in the day, mariachis were just heavy duty. They just
Yeah.
otra hora, okay.
Yeah.
Esta rola, okay. And nowadays we get people that are like, oh, like hay que bajarle un tono, dos tonos, tres tonos, or like,
It's too cold outside.
or it's too cold outside, or it's too late,
It's
or
too hot.
I have to go out with my girlfriend somewhere. No, hombre.
No, you're right. You're right. And it's the same thing, man. I mean, I think it all comes from your schooling. Like I said, my schooling was the cantinas, the bars. That was my schooling, and I know a lot of people, my age, that had that same type of schooling, where you didn't have a choice. It was, oh, you're cold. Well, suck it up. Oh, you got school in the morning. I don't give a shit.
That's what I'm trying to say. You had that schooling, and like it shows. O sea, it shows because you got here to LA, and you turned it up, bro.
Nah,
you got here,
thank you.
you rocked it, man. You started out strong. You're still strong. I mean, I love it, man. Congrats.
Thank you so much.
So they don't make them like they used to. There's very few in my generation that I know a lot of people are gonna hate me for this. Sorry, but back in the day, they're just, it's like the cars. Like back in the day, they're just sturdier. They last longer. They're heavy duty.
You got to look at it this way, man. When I was 14 years old, when I was a teen, we didn't have Google. You know what I mean?
Oh goodness,
We didn't have CDs.
I wonder how they did it, man.
So for the way that I did it, I mean, I'm sure everybody has a different way that they learn their music, but the way that I did it, there's a radio station in Fresno called Radio Bilingüe, right? So every Monday through Friday, they have a Mañanitas con Mariachi from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay, so I would wake up at 6 a.m. and press record on my cassette, and I would record the whole 3 hours. Okay, and then from there, I would take, okay, they asked for this song, and I would sit down and write down my lyrics.
The people calling, they were people local.
No, it was they just had a program set up already.
Okay.
They had 3 hours of mariachi, and it was like singers and mariachis, like camperos. They would play a lot of camperos there. They played
on the radio,
local imperial, mariachi imperial.
On the radio.
Yeah, on the radio.
Not here, brother.
No, not here. They would play a lot of
Wow.
jilguerilla, stuff like that. So yeah, that was the way that we learned music back then. Was you had to record it on the cassette and then sit there and write it out. There was no Google. So I think that made it a lot more difficult for us to learn songs, but at the same time, it made it easier for us to memorize the songs. So as we're now, we all rely on Google so much, and unfortunately, it's a really big pet peeve of mine. I hate to see a mariachi reading lyrics off of a phone. I just feel like it kind of defeats the purpose.
That's a big topic. That's another whole episode.
That's a whole nother episode. It kind of defeats the purpose, man. So I try to, unfortunately, it's impossible to learn all the songs that people ask for, and occasionally you're gonna have to resort to Google. But I try to keep away from it as much as I can. Even if I have a small idea of how the song goes, I'll do it without it. You know what I mean? Just because, you're there to entertain the people. The last thing that people want to see is you reading the phone. That's the way I see it. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah.
I have nothing against the people that do it, but like I said, I don't agree with it.
The times that I bring out the phone is when clients are just this song, we want this song, and I'm like, lady, that's a banda song.
Yeah, of course.
Or lady, that's a grupo song. Like we don't have the electric, and the lady's like, ¿Cómo sale así? All right, I'll bring out the phone. That's my views on it.
Yeah, no, of course. My favorite's when they say, ¿Cuál te saben del laberinto? And I'm like, who the fuck is laberinto? That's my favorite.
I'm like, lady, you hired the wrong group, man.
Yeah. No, we actually, little side note, we played at a gig the other day, and the lady was pissed because she was asking for nothing but banda songs, right? So, but we still played them. But she wrote a comment on her Facebook saying that she wasn't happy with the group because we only had one clarinet, and that was our trumpet player. But she wasn't happy because we only had one clarinet.
Oh my goodness! So.
Yep. Good stuff.
Maybe she wanted you guys to have 2 clarinets.
Maybe, and a tuba.
And the tuba, the farafara, y todo eso. No, pues so you had spent a good chunk of your life out there
Yes,
in up north.
Up north.
And so you explored all that. You're familiar with all those cities and everything.
I am familiar with
that's
all
awesome.
the cities.
Are you
over
familiar
there.
with all the cities here in LA now?
No, not yet. I'm still getting used to it.
Oh goodness.
Still getting used to it. Yeah.
There's a lot, right?
They'll tell me like a city, and I'm like, I don't know where that's at. GPS.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. So you would agree that life in LA, mariachi life, charro life in LA, and out there up north is different.
Oh yeah, it's very different. I think there's a lot more dedication here, which is why, you know, back in the day, I wanted to make it here in LA. I wanted to actually be here and work here because.
At what age was that at?
Oh man, I would say. I'm gonna throw this out there. I think a big motivation of mine was some fellow musicians that I grew up knowing because we were kind of in the same area, and there was the Lopez brothers. You know, for example, Roberto Lopez is now in Mariachi Vargas.
Goodness gracious!
Yeah,
you started off with the.
Yeah, right.
Saludos, Robert.
Yeah, Robert. So I grew up knowing these people, and you know, they made it big at a young age. They, you know, they were like in Sol de Mexico, like in their teens and stuff. And for me, I was barely starting in my teens as a musician. So I saw them, and even their dad, Rafael Lopez.
You're a little younger than your brothers.
Rafael Lopez told me, you know, like, aren't you interested in going to LA one day and just, you know, playing out there with all the, you know, with all the big names? And I was like,
that was the first time you heard of LA.
Yeah, and I was like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I just enjoy playing music. You know, I didn't really see the whole perception of being here in LA with, you know, with all the big names. And but as time progressed, you know, I would see, you know, his Robert's brother is Freddie Lopez. He was in Mariachi Internacional de Mexico after Sol de Mexico or something like that.
Yeah.
And I would just see them, you know, in their suits. They looked like glamorous. You know what I mean? And I saw them on CDs and stuff, and I was like, man, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool that they made it that big coming from where I'm from, you know what I mean? So yeah, the idea started out, but at the time I was already married. I already had kids, so I was like, you know, a big move like that, it's very difficult for me.
Very big.
Very big. And then I had a lot of people, charros, telling me, you know what, you're getting older. To make it out there, you have to be kind of young. You know, they don't want older people over there.
True.
So it's
true.
something that started, you know, getting inside my mind. Like, okay, I'm getting too old for this. I'm never gonna make it to LA. So I just, you know, I did my work out there as best as I could. Still learning off of CDs mainly because when I say that music over there isn't as good as it is here, not that it's not as good, but there's not as much motivation. Is over there and up in the north, we don't have as many mariachi teachers, for example. You know what I mean? There's people that are good, but some of them aren't willing to invest time in you, and others, they just tell you, no, pues ahí escucha los discos y ahí como, you know what I mean? So where here in LA, you have big names that are willing to, you know, for a price.
Speaking of big names, goodness, you got here in the span of a couple years, less than 5 years. You're playing with the greats. You're playing with a couple greats. You're playing with a couple legendary people, living legends.
Well, I was working in Hayward, California at the time with mariachi up there, Mariachi Tierra Linda, right? And
was that with the yellow suits?
No, that was before. That was after that actually.
Because I think I first saw
yellow
you.
Suits.
Yeah. Some guy was playing bass and he was like,
down here with the electric guitar. No, you know what? But he's really good. He's a really good musician.
I love the way he plays.
He's awesome, man. And he does all these little finger, and I'm like, wow.
You two made a great team.
Yeah.
I saw a bunch of videos.
Yeah, I loved him. And well, yeah. At the time I was in Hayward, I was actually managing the group over there. The guy that was in charge, he started working for Apple or something like that.
Oh, really?
So he was like, you know what? I'm on to bigger, better things. I need somebody to take care of the group. He, you know, gave it over to me. And I was happy, man. We were working. We had a lot of work over there. And one day I just get the call from my friend. His name is Samuel Yanez, right?
Yeah.
Samuel Yanez. Well, he comes from Sol de Mexico too. He's a
big name.
He's a big name. And it's funny because I worked with his dad. His dad has his mariachi in Sacramento, California. You know, so Casa Sanchez, which is Mariachi Voces de Mexico in Culver City.
Oh,
you know,
I remember that.
They were in need of a vihuela player, and Sammy calls his dad and says, "Hey, you know, do you know anybody out there that would be worth the time?"
Was that when Pique?
I believe it was Caesar.
Went out?
Caesar.
Oh, Caesar went out.
Caesar, yeah.
Because when Pique got out, Pique had referred me to go into Casa Sanchez.
Oh, there you go.
And I was like, oh man, like I'm starting on my little group right now. Like,
Yeah.
That would be cool because if I were to go to Casa Sanchez, that would have been cool.
Yeah.
But this is and so when I asked Pique, hey Pique, so you're leaving Casa Sanchez, where are you going? He just said, oh, me invitan a chambear por ahí.
Not knowing.
Well, he knew,
Oh,
but he
he
didn't want
knew.
to tell
Yeah,
me.
he didn't tell nobody. Yeah.
And so, so I was recommended to Casa Sanchez once, and then that was cool. But and so you after Caesar got out, they were like this guy.
No, it wasn't like that, man. After Caesar got out, I think they were without a vihuela because they had a guitar player, so they didn't really need the vihuela. But after a couple months or whatever, they were like, oh, maybe we should find somebody.
Yeah.
So like I said, Sammy called his dad. Hey, do you know anybody in Sacramento that would be, maybe willing to come out here?
That was Melinda and Jose Luis there, right?
Melinda wasn't there anymore. It was Jose Luis.
Okay.
Jose Luis alone.
And then
Don Chayo, which is Sammy's dad, gave him my number. Sammy called me. Hey, are you willing to come out here and help us out Friday, Saturday, Sunday? For some reason in the world, we didn't have work in my group. Because if we would have had work, I would have said no.
It was fate.
Yeah, I would have said no.
That was the reason.
Yeah, no.
It was fate.
I would have said no. And it was crazy, man, because like I said, the mariachi that I was in Hayward, we worked every weekend, like crazy hours, you know what I mean? This weekend, no work whatsoever. And I was like, yeah, I'll go out there. So I came out here to Culver City Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And by Sunday, they dropped it on me. They're like, hey, you know what? Are you willing to...
Sunday night. After the shows.
After the shows, they're like, are you willing to commit to the group?
Were you packing up or what were you doing?
Oh, yeah, I was getting ready to go home. I was ready to drive 6 hours back north.
And they were like, you got to stay, man.
Nah, they offered it. They're like, are you willing to stay? We like how you play. Nos hallamos bien contigo. Te quieres quedar en el grupo. And it was crazy, man, because I was like, oh, man. It was a big decision to make, because I didn't expect that. I actually thought I was coming out to play 3 days and then back to my normal life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, not even, you didn't have the slightest feeling. Like, even the first night, did you rock out with them?
Nah, man. The first night I was scared. I was,
You were all over the place.
I sweat. I already sweat, but I was drenched in sweat because, in front of me was Sopi. Sopi.
Oh, goodness.
Like in mariachi world, that guy's a god. You know what I mean? So I was like, man, this guy's in front of me right here. I had Payo, which was Sol de Mexico's like original guitarrón player, and I was like, oh man. I was just like, I was sorting it up. I was nervous. They asked for a few songs that I didn't know. And I was like, oh, man, this is horrible. Like, I don't want to do this again. That type of stuff.
They're not going to call me back?
Yeah, no. Like I said, I never expected to stay. I legit thought I was just going to help out for 3 days.
To fill a little spot.
I was like, maybe the guy was sick. I didn't know anything. I didn't know they needed a vihuela player. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I never knew that. So I thought I was just filling in for the weekend. That's all I thought. And yeah, when they asked me to stay, man, I was like, oh man, this has always been my dream, is to work in LA, but obviously I had a life in Sacramento that I had to either leave or not leave.
How was the image from like you living there, and then people were just like, hey, come out here, or like, hey, you do good in LA? Like, how you were like, oh my goodness, like I can do it. It's or it's too big of a job, or it's too big of a dedication, or
well, like I told you before, I think it's just a lot of people would tell me, you're getting too old. Because I'm in my 30s now, getting closer to my 40s.
Dude, you look young as hell.
Thank you. It's the crema que me pongo. Hey. So that it was kind of like a dream that I didn't really have anymore. It was like, man, it would have been cool to work in LA, but it's not going to be for me. You know what I mean?
You were like, it's over.
That's how I looked at it.
I'm too old. Oh, no. And then what happened?
And then, so when they offered me to stay in the group, it was unexpected. Like I said, it was unexpected. I obviously wanted it more than anything else. But like I said, I had a life in Sacramento. When I say a life in Sacramento, I have my kids in Sacramento, so I was like, man, how am I going to do it? I had my apartment in Sacramento, you know what I mean? So after a few 30 minutes of really deep thought, I agreed.
30 minutes?
30 minutes, yeah. I was like, nah, man, I need to do it. I need to try it, I need to put it, it's in my bucket list. It's something that I've always wanted to do, so I'm going to do it. So the way I did it for the first year and a half was Thursday through Sunday, I was at Casa Sanchez in Culver City, and Monday through Wednesday, I was in Sacramento every week.
I recall that.
I was driving back and forth every week.
For how long?
For about a year and a half.
A year and a half?
A year and a half. Yeah, that's how I did it.
Did you kill a car? Did you like?
Oh yeah, man! I went through 2 cars.
2 cars? Jesus! What car? What kind of car?
It was a Honda Civic. Cheers to my Honda Civic.
Cheers.
Mi carrito. Cheers, man.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. Oh, that's so nasty. Oh man.
Guácala.
Whack. Ugh. Yeah, so I went through cars like crazy, man, but you know, it was just my commitment to do what I wanted to do, but still be a father. You know what I mean? At the time, I was single, so it was easy because all I had to worry about was my work and my kids, and that's all I did. You know, I came to work on the weekends, went back to Sacramento on the weekday to spend time with my kids.
Oh, is it on the shot? Sorry. No. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's how I did it, man. It was a crazy journey for me, but
So you're here in LA now. Is it what you expected? Are the people as what you expected? Is the chamba as what you expected?
it is, man.
Yeah?
It really is. Yeah, I think everything that I expected.
Because there's a lot of people out there that I'm sure they just LA scene, they're just the LA scene, or maybe the Guadalajara scene, or maybe they have goals of the Texas or whatever scene of mariachi.
Yeah,
I'm sure a lot of our viewers are maybe mariachis.
I think maybe when I got here, because obviously we grew up seeing like these big concerts, like Hollywood Bowl or
Yeah.
the Tucson, Arizona stuff, or the El Paso, Texas, like all these big festivals. So I think that's something that you grow up like, oh man, I wish I was there. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, nowadays, it's not something that's as big anymore. So as far as like festivals and stuff like that, yeah, it's a lot less than it was when I was a kid, and I wish it was still around. But besides that, as far as like the musicianship, co-workers, it's like anywhere else, man. You got people that are assholes, and then you got people that are willing to help you out.
Yeah.
And I think I mentioned Sopi before.
Yeah.
Sopi, man, when I first got to Casa Sanchez, I was really timid. I was really scared just of the whole going from the group I was in was good, but it wasn't, a LA group. I think LA groups, big groups in LA is just musically, they're just so much more advanced than we are up north.
Otro pedo.
It's otro pedo, dude. A high fart, high fart. And I was just nervous, man. And I think Sopi was one of the people that, he kept encouraging me, you know what, aprendete esto, learn this, do this. He knows a lot about Vihuela as well. So he would tell me, hey, do these manicos. And he helped me out a lot, man. And coming from, such a big name, I was humbled by it. You know what I mean?
So from being a young musician, did you think you were ever going to play with these people?
No, never. No, it was a dream, obviously, but some dreams just don't come true.
You were just gigging, you just little in a little pueblito, not pueblito, but like
Of course.
So for those people that are watching and that are also not in LA, they haven't been to LA, they've heard of LA.
Yeah.
Obviously, I mean Sol, Camperos, it's all around here, international. What would you say to them? Is it possible? Is it hard? Is it a tough journey?
I think practically like anybody else would say, I think if I made it, anybody else can make it. You know what I mean?
True.
It all takes dedication. Because I was, I've always been very dedicated to mariachi, to where it's been my main goal. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I may not be a good musician, but I'm as good as I can be. I try as hard as I can. I might not be a good singer, but I try as hard as I can be.
You're a great singer.
Oh, thank you, man. But that's what I mean by dedication. Like, try your best, do your best, and maybe if for yourself it's not good enough, maybe for somebody else it is. Mm-hmm. That's how I saw it. Like me, I was like, man, I'm not good enough. Uh-huh. And then these other people thought I was. So you never know.
Just believe in yourself.
Just believe in yourself, man. Big time. Believe in yourself. Chingarle, man. Learn lyrics. Stay away from Google. You can't be reading Google on the stage.
Yeah, that's very true. So the reason why I bring this up is because, dude, there's group after group. What you got here? What was the first group, or what was?
First group was Voces de Mexico. Yeah, I mean, it was a great crew, man. Good people, good musicians. My good friend Ubaldo el Pajarito. Oh man, phenomenal.
Y arriba Zacatecas.
Yeah, arriba Zacatecas. Puro NOCHES. Noches. Yeah, phenomenal person, man. Musician, but we had a good bond, him and I. I would visit his house and stuff like that. So it was a good time. There was a lot of good musicians in that group. A lot of ex-Sol de Mexico musicians. So that was the biggest tension for me. I was like, oh man, I'm around all these big people, and here's me, hello, Vihuela, you know what I mean? And but yeah, after a time being, there was an opportunity to join Mariachi Tierra Querida with Ismael Hernandez. And Ismael Hernandez, man, I mean, honestly, he's always been one of my favorite voices in mariachi. You know what I mean? Always.
Like many others.
Yeah, like many others, of course. But In my personal opinion, he was one of the best. He was one of my favorite. You know what I mean? So when the opportunity arose, I was like, man, I'm gonna jump on it. I'm already here. You know, why not? So I did. I jumped on it, and I worked with him for a couple of years, and it was a good time. And I learned a lot from him. I learned a lot from his story from Camperos. Like everything he learned, he would pass it on to us. So it was a good time, man. I really enjoyed it.
There's lots of videos, and you guys are just shredding and
Yeah,
jamming
yeah.
out, dude.
Well, I really like the style. You know, my style has always been that like tierra caliente, like son style, and that's what they played. And I was like, oh man, this is the perfect fit for me. It's perfect, yeah. And for the time that I was there, I loved it, man.
You gelled, man. You rocked it, and a lot of what people have heard from Tierra Querida or videos and stuff, you're a big chunk of that.
Yeah.
You're in there. Dude, it's awesome. It's awesome.
Thank you.
So Tierra Querida, Voces de Mexico.
And then the very last group that I was in was Internacional de Mexico.
You guys.
Yeah. It was an awesome time as well. I think the only reason I'm not there anymore was because the whole pandemic hit, and they closed the restaurant once. We went back. They closed the restaurant twice, and it was like, you know what?
That's a cool topic to hit in a bit.
Unfortunately, I love where I'm at. I love the mariachi. I love the atmosphere, but I have a family to support. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I needed to look elsewhere. That's the only reason I'm not there anymore.
Pandemic. Oh my God. Let's not necessarily talk about international pandemic. Okay. Mariachi pandemic.
Yes.
What's it like here in LA? Because we've never talked about that.
I don't know, man. I think it's different for everybody. I've heard of a lot of charros that don't have any work. You know what I mean? And then I've heard the opposite. I've heard of charros that are working like, tons of hours every week. So it's like, it's a weird thing. I think it just, I think people are bored right now, and because they can't go anywhere. So I think it's a really good opportunity for people to hire a mariachi to go to their house so that they can, small parties, like a small, 8 to 10 people party.
I like those. They're cool.
Yeah, they're really cool. They're very intimate. They're awesome.
Sometimes there's more mariachis.
Yeah, exactly. So I think I don't know. It's been good for some and really bad for others. That's the way I see it.
Yeah. No, but that sounds like every other profession.
Yeah, exactly.
Crazy times. I'm glad. I'm blessed to still be here, do my thing.
Yeah. Same here.
Diablito's been killing it, you guys, shredding it, you guys. It's been crazy. What about saying something to the people that are just, going through little issues in the pandemic, Mariachis, what would you say? Just sígale?
Yeah, stay strong, man. Keep at it. Yeah, exactly. Porque at the end of the day, man, no matter what happens, music prevails. It always has. It really has. And I think we just got to stick to it. Be cautious, be safe. If you hear people copying, like stay away from them. But yeah, I think it's we've got a lot of cancellations because I think people are very conscious of what's going on, and obviously if somebody that was invited to the party got sick of COVID, they'll cancel. Like, you know what, it's not even worth to risk it. Yeah. So I think
we're getting there.
Yeah, so I think people are very conscious of what's going on, and thankfully for us, I think when we go to a gig, people are pretty much safe, but I think it's still safe to stay, keep your distance.
God,
don't be like on top of them, like singing and echándole las babas encima.
YouTube channel, is that still a thing? You still moving it? It's got great videos on it. I love it. There's people that have benefited from it, I'm pretty sure.
You know what? I was more focused on it before I joined Internacional de Mexico. And the only reason I say this is because when I joined Internacional de Mexico, I joined as a guitar player. So I had never joined a group as a guitar player. So for me, it was a really, really big challenge as far as, learning how to play the guitar. I mean, anybody can grab a guitar and play it. The musicians, any musician can grab a guitar and play it. But playing the, mariachero, it's a little bit different. I didn't even know how to use the, like the triangle pick for the guitar. I didn't even know how to use that.
Goodness.
So that took me a good 6 months to get a grasp. I would play like dun and ahí va la pinche bola. Like, oh fuck.
You have to build muscle for that, right? You
have to build it's crazy, man. It took me, like I said, about 6 months to learn that. And then the repertoire that Mariachi Internacional de Mexico has, it's enormous, So when I entered that group, I had no time for anything else but to practice my guitar and practice repertoire. That's all I had time for.
And then go work.
Yes. That's all I had time for. And I kind of unattended my channel for a good year, and after that year, that's when I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna have time for this anymore. That was pre the pandemic.
Yeah, that's why you came here. You came here to work, and,
Yeah.
and you're a busy guy. You're a very wanted musician
Thank
amongst
you.
a lot of people, dude. I mean, obviously because right here, your voice, dude. You got lyrics, dude. I'm just it blows my mind because there's people that have been here for many years, and they're very content. That's a whole nother episode, right? They're very content, and I just love. I love when that's not happening. Here, we got a really great example, really good role model for many mariachis out there. I believe all out here in Cali, all in the United States, everywhere, pretty much, wherever this reaches. Hobbies outside of mariachi. Anything fun? What's Diablito like? Long walks on the beach, or nice little candlelit dinner.
I like unfortunately, I'm very very bland. I like music and
Mariachi.
I like mariachi, and like you listen to my music on my phone. It's mariachi. My wife hates it. She's like, man, can we listen to something else? And I was like, yeah, let's put your phone. But I think I like traveling. I think we enjoy. Like we just went to Yosemite this year. We enjoy being out in nature.
Nice.
Just getting away from it all, man.
Yeah.
Out there, your phone has no reception, so you have no choice but to just talk to the people that are around you.
You feel like it's gonna suck, but it's a great feeling.
Yeah, it is a great feeling. You just enjoy what's around you. You're not worried about, kay chamba, how am I gonna make it home in time, stuff like that.
Oh,
You're
my
just out
goodness.
there living life, and I think that's something that we enjoy a lot. We just like getting away from it all for a bit.
Would you feel that out there up north, that this tense feeling of like work and I'm or
It's
yeah,
different.
it's different. It's more intense here.
It's more intense here because here I feel like we work every day if you wanted to, and if you have, I think here if you have the lyrics, because si no cantas, not too many people will take you. Unfortunately, that's the truth.
Yeah.
So here, I think if you want to, you can work every day. To where up north, I feel like everybody has a Monday through Friday job, and then weekends, let's go do our hobby, mariachi.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? So
And
there's not so much pressure over there. Over there, it's like work Monday through Friday in a warehouse or wherever it is you're working, and then Saturday, Sunday, go do your mariachi, and then back to Monday, back to the routine.
Yeah.
But it's not something like here where you practice to sound better or you learn lyrics. No.
Everything pisadas
Yeah.
and stuff. Órale, no, pues. Where is Diablito in the next 5 years, next 10 years, next?
Oh man,
Is it?
the way my life has gone so far, I can't even predict that anymore. Because, like I said, if you would have asked me 5 years ago, where are you gonna be? I would have never said Mariachi Internacional de Mexico, for example. Never. I would have never even said LA. You know what I mean?
Dude.
So it's unpredictable, man. I mean, especially now with this pandemic, we don't even know where we're going. We don't even know where we're headed right now.
Just do your best. Just échale ganas.
Échale ganas,
Take
that's
care
all
of
you
your
can
shit.
Yep.
Goodness gracious. Anything else you want to go over, brother?
Oh man, what else? Let me see. I'm gonna drink my tequila to get some inspiration.
Where are your parents from? What was your
So
background?
my grandparents, they're from my grandma, she was from Purépero, Michoacán, and even a lot of musicians know me. Like they'll ask me where you're from, and I always say Purépero, Michoacán, because when I was a kid, that was kind of one of the only places that we ever went to every year. So it's something that I associated with. I was like, oh, this is my town. This is where I'm here. Although I'm a pocho, and I mean, I'm sure you can relate. When you're a pocho, you get all this shit talking.
Oh, goodness.
Pinche pocho.
Yeah.
Pinche pocho. So my whole childhood and even to the day, they'll ask me, where are you from? Oh, I'm from Michoacán. Because if I say I'm from Antioch, no, pinche pocho. You know what I mean?
We got like 2 minutes. I hope we'll make it.
But yeah, Michoacán. My parents are from Michoacán. My dad's from Jalisco. So yeah, big influence there.
One last thing. It's pretty random. Do you ever feel like, since being I'm pocho, whatever it is. Do you feel like you're not Mexican enough and not American enough? That's a topic I've seen a lot online.
I personally feel I'm not American enough, okay? Because I grew up, my friends weren't like normal, next door neighbor friends. My friends were mariachis, dude.
Oh, okay.
So at a young age, I learned a lot of stuff that I shouldn't have known yet. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I consider myself, although I was born here, I consider myself more Mexican than American, because even when it comes to I mean, although we're speaking English right now,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm a lot more fluent in Spanish than I am in English.
Oh,
I feel that I associate more to Mexico than America. I think it depends on each person. For my personal story is when I was growing up and I was a teen, I wanted to listen to Notorious B.I.G., Snoop Dogg. You know, my dad didn't let me. He was like, "Hey, ponte a escuchar mariachi, cabrón. That's what you do." You know what I mean? So I didn't really have that chance to explore my American side. I only had the chance to explore the Mexican side, which was the charro side. You know what I mean? Like, learn your shit. Like, stop listening to Snoop Dogg. He's not gonna know Javier Solis songs. You know what I mean?
Arturo, Diablito, Arturo Martinez, thank you so much, brother. It's an honor, pleasure. It's a blast gigging with you from time to time.
Thank you. Likewise, man.
You know,
likewise.
This little moment, we just, this little podcast. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
Anything
Peter.
else you want to say to the viewers?
Man, just keep going strong, man. Don't let this pandemic slow you down. Music will prevail. It always has. And that's it, man. We got to keep going. Mariachi music will always be here.
Bro, thank you so much, man.
All right, man.
Thank you so much, man. Take care. Hope to see you soon, man.
Likewise, man.
Sas, guys. Thank you, guys. Subscribe, like, and subscribe.